It's very simple. If you break our laws when you're here as a visitor, we kick you out. I don't know how anybody can disagree with that. If someone shows up in our country claiming to be a student or a temporary worker and they start firebombing coffee shops, bakeries, synagogues, or any other place, then they need to be immediately arrested and they need to be deported. If someone is obviously a citizen, they should be prosecuted through our legal system and put in prison here in Canada for those sorts of crimes. But there's no excuse for keeping people in this country who are visitors here on a temporary visa or permit if they're breaking our laws.
What about people who are here illegally? What about people who have entered the country illegally or who have come to the country, applied for asylum claim, had that rejected, but remain in Canada? Would you deport those people?
Yes, I mean that's supposed to be the policy right now. I mean, if someone comes in, makes a false asylum claim, it gets rejected, they're supposed to leave today. The challenge that we're going to face is that under 9 years of the Carney-Trudeau Liberals' open border policies, we have now millions of people whose permits are going to expire over the next sort of 2 years. And if they don't leave, we have a very hard time, first of all, even knowing they're still here, finding them, and then carrying out a deportation. There are some among them that we do want to keep. They could be a master's graduate in computer engineering that has a 6-figure job in Kitchener-Waterloo, started a family, integrated, speaks the language. This is someone we want to keep.
Yep.
But we need to be able to make that decision ourselves through selection based on these criteria, not just by accident because people who are not eligible to stay decide they're not going to leave.
They come here looking for food.
Oh my gosh, if you're hungry, I'll buy you food right now.
If you're hungry, I have my food over there.
Do you want me to buy you?
Come back again. Yeah.
That's the feeling, eh? Do you want something from the store?
I get bites in my nose, I get bites in my mouth, in my throat, and I get cut off from my breathing. I can't breathe. I lose my breathing. And I get bites in my ear. I get bites all over from head to toe.
Do you want food? I'll buy you food.
Yes.
Come on, let's go.
Oh, hi. My name is Amy Monzue. I'm from Liberia, West Africa. The doctor said the other medication is not covered, and that's the important one I need. So, and I don't have money. And what did the TD Bank did wrong thing to me? Everybody received their money December 20. They didn't give me $1. Because I don't have an ID. I lose my ID because I was homeless. But now I'm glad and thankful to my father. I have one room.
Welcome back to EFK Original Documentaries. Today we are going to talk about Jamaicans and why are Jamaicans so adamant on moving to Canada. You know, we've heard and we did a video whereby Jamaicans are being forced to leave Canada and go all the way back to their country. And remember one thing, you need to learn that if a person does not want you, they don't have to say with their mouth, we don't want you here. They will speak with their actions, and actions speak louder than words, you know. Right now, we've had so many Jamaicans moving all the way to Canada, and they're trying to find a permanent residence, in short, PR. You see, many Africans or people of color who have gone to Jamaica, particularly black people, are not getting this PR, public residence, because, you know, the systems that run this world, you know, white supremacy, white privilege, the idea that black people always cause problem, this might be an enough reason to hold Jamaicans from attaining a public residence. But my question to you is this. Must you really go to Canada? Must you really go to a white person's land? Can you not do that what you want to do in your own country? Must you go over there? Once you can be able to answer this question, you will know that indeed we as black people, we might be the ones looking for trouble from those other individuals. There's a video I want us to watch. Let's watch it. I'll come back where I shall also share my thoughts, where we shall also have a deep, critical analysis.
So a lot of my friends and family, particularly in Jamaica, asking me what is my experience being in Canada because they want to make the transition. Now, this video is not to discourage anybody from coming to Canada. If you feel like Canada is a place that you want to come and live and, you know, start your family, feel free. Don't let this discourage you. But I want to share the realities of Canada. I've been here for the last almost 60 years, and Canada has been, it's different. From after COVID, Canada has changed significantly in a number of areas. And I'll speak to some of the areas that I think Canada changed a lot in. When it comes on to taxes, Canada, I think, have one of the highest taxes in the world. So the more money you earn, the more tax you pay in Canada. It's like the higher you climb is the higher the government take money out of your pay. So you're paying, as I'm up to 47% of your income in Canada that goes to tax. So it's very, 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 very tax heavy in Canada. The other thing that I noticed in Canada is that after COVID, the price of food went right through the doors. Like literally, you can go to supermarket with 100 Canadian dollar and you come out back with absolutely nothing. Just two, probably, if you get 2 bags with $100, you get a lot. Food over the last 2 years, particularly 3 years, skyrocket high. The cost of living versus what you're getting for your pay, what you're getting for to buy for food, absolutely ridiculous. The other thing is rent. Now, Canada have this. So before COVID, you could get a 2-bedroom for like 1,100 Canadian dollars, $1,200. Now, after COVID, the same apartment, the apartment that I live on, I got my apartment before COVID, so I got in a very comfortable rate for a 2-bedroom apartment. Now, I have some friends who moved from Jamaica, and there were some vacancies on this apartment, and they live here, and they're paying $1,800 for the same 2-bedroom. And when they move, the landlord charging $2,200 for the same 2-bedroom. So rent in Canada, it's very, very, very expensive. When you talk about the healthcare, now Canada have free healthcare because they use the taxes that we pay to provide free healthcare. But when you go to the hospital, is that it's no different from an underdeveloped country where you're waiting hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, like literally waiting for 8 hours. You go to the hospital from 7 a.m. in the morning, you're not getting through, and I kid you not, you're not getting through until around maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. That's when you actually get to see a doctor, because there is a shortage in the healthcare workers. There is no doctor, and you can't go to a private doctor. You can't say, all right, you have your money, so you're gonna go to a private doctor. Canada not deal with private doctor. The rich, the poor, everybody goes to one hospital. Furthermore, you can't even get a family doctor. There's a 6 months waiting list to even get a family doctor here in Canada. The other challenge with the reality of Canada is, honestly, Canada boring. Canada boring. There is nothing to do. It's good when you have like your own community, that you can have that level of culture. You know, you have your Jamaican community, you have the other ethnic groups who have their community. Community is big. If you don't have a community in Canada, man, Canada is boring. Now have nothing to do. So I'm grateful that here we form a nice little community where people can display culture, you can talk your language, you can cook your food, and you just feel Jamaican. Without that being present, Canada boring. So a lot of people just work in Canada and save them money so that they can travel to different countries. That's what I've been doing over the last couple of years. Like me, I can't stay 12 months in Canada. It's not possible. It's not possible. Yeah. So at the end of the day, Canada is still good in some instances where, you know, the crime and violence is not as bad. They have good gun laws, but overall, if you're not a strong person, if you don't have community and you don't have the support, Canada is very, very depressing. And I'm grateful to be here, and I'm not discouraging anybody from coming. You can come and you may find it to be good. The other thing is I want to mention is that with this current government, what they're doing, they're reversing a number of the immigration programs that they had for people to get easy access in Canada. So a lot of temporary residents, a lot of people going back to their countries. Trust me, if you do the research right now, a lot of people going back to their countries because people just cannot afford to live in Canada anymore, or the government make it so difficult for persons now to obtain permanent residence in this country. But still grateful to be here, but I just wish things will change soon. That's just my reality of Canada.
So fun and joke aside, it's my last 2 videos on this particular topic. I've been getting so many messages about, oh, if you leave Canada yet, why you gonna leave? Go on by your business, blah blah blah, we don't want you here. So only things that me expected and just leave without coming here and getting what I came for. The fact of the matter is I'm already here, and yes, I do have intentions to leave, but on my time, on my terms, when I'm ready, I'm going to make the move. So I wanted to actually do a video talking about, okay, for the persons that are here, what are we doing to make our lives here more bearable? For me, one of the main things that I'm doing is leaving the country. Travel as much as you possibly can if you can afford to, if you can get the time to. There are a lot of remote jobs out there that will allow you to work up to a month to 3 months outside of Canada. Take advantage of those kinds of benefits. Be intentional about searching for opportunities and for jobs that allow you to be outside of Canada. And in addition to that, try to vacation as much as possible if you can, so you don't feel as if, okay, it's just Canada. And I'm using Canada because I don't want anybody to come for me, because that's the country. I am in Toronto, so my experience is based on where I am. I've gotten a lot of persons saying that they're in Alberta, they're in BC, they're in all different parts of Canada, and they are having the same experiences. So when I say Canada, please don't come for me. So yeah, ensure that you take your vacation days, travel. If you're able to travel, leave the country. It helps a lot. And try to take those vacations in the winter time. Get yourself some sun, some vitamin D. Second thing is, we know that the cost of living here is high. Things are crazy. People can't afford to rent an apartment on like their individual salaries. They're not able to purchase homes by themselves, or sometimes even with a partner. So my suggestion is cut your costs, especially if you don't see yourself living here for the rest of your lives. Don't try to break the bank by becoming house poor, trying to get a mortgage that you can't afford, or trying to live in a luxury high-rise in the middle of the city if you know that your salary just won't be able to afford that. Don't go broke trying to look rich. You get caught up in the hype of the life, the lifestyle that they see other people around them living. But just remember why you came here. Remember your goals. Remember what it is that you want. Another thing is, there's so much to do. There is so much to do regardless of which province or city that you're in. Find something to do. And that is a reminder for myself, not just in the summertime, because in the summertime is when I come alive in Toronto. And that's just because there's so many things to do. Concerts, like fairs, activities. There's a lot to do. But also remember that if you're here in the winter time, winter is half of the year, literally 6 months. So I've had this issue before where I go all out in the summertime, do this, that, and the third, thinking that I've gotten my fill and I will be okay in winter. That was not the case. Seasonal depression still kicked my ass. But it's also important to know that there's still activities that you can do in the winter time that can help you to, boost your mood. You might not be able to get as much vitamin D, but try to supplement. Find a community. and I spoke about community in one of my videos. It's very, very difficult, but a lot of persons have been commenting that we should start a group. I don't know if that's something that I personally want to take on. I don't know if you guys are really interested. Let me know. I'll think about it. But let's form a community of persons that we're in the same situation, we're in the same areas. That's super important, and we can reach out to one another during the, whenever, actually, to just link up. The Jamaican community here is big, but it's not just for Jamaicans. Any immigrant, if you are here, you move from your home country to Canada, you find it difficult to cope, I feel like forming a community will be really important. Reaching out to persons that you know are in the same situation as you are will 100% help. Trust me, when misery loves company, and that sounds bad, but when you find out that there are people depressed, sad, and unhappy and going through the exact same thing that you're going through, trust and believe that you feel a lot better. So those are my tips. Yeah, that's basically it. Bye.
6 years in Canada, still no PR. So today I want to share my flagpoling experience. If you've been following my journey and you've been a part of my live events, you'll remember that I thought that my minor son is in status simply because I have a work permit, because he has a visitor's visa. So I didn't know that you need to have a visitor's record or even a study permit. A study permit is not necessary for a minor, but for the child to remain in status, they need a visitor's record. I did not grasp that concept. I thought that, you know what, I have a permit, he's a minor, he's in school, we've even traveled across the border, and they didn't ask me anything, so I'm thinking, he's good. I'm a bit worried since the live, since learning that he needs to have a visitor's record. It has been on my mind, and so today I decided to go to the border to do a flagpole. I didn't want to just apply for a visitor's record because in a sense he's out of status, right? So I'm thinking, I don't want to do that. I want to go somewhere where I can talk to someone face to face so that they can understand where I'm coming from, if there's even a need to explain. Okay, so let's get into the process. So the first thing I did, I read up on Canada.ca where it stated that you're able to flagpole, and this was an update as of 2024 July. So that is why I'm thinking this is recent update, so I'm going to work with it. So it had 3 borders listed, Peace Bridge, Rainbow, and I believe Queen Lewiston, I believe. So I decided to go to Rainbow Bridge, which is the one in Niagara. I got there, I left home at about 5 a.m. this morning, and I got there around after 6 thereabout. I didn't really know how it worked. So we parked across the road and we walked through the door to the one that says to the bridge. So we had to pay $1 each toll. When I went through the door and I realized the distance we have to walk, I said to my husband, no, let's drive over. Big mistake. So we went back, we drove over, and it took so long when we drove over. There were persons that I saw the same time when I got there, who walked over the bridge, got through and left. And we were still sitting there for a long time. I don't know if it's because we drove, I don't know, but it took so long. Nevertheless, we were finished. We went back to the Canadian border, and once we got there, the guy was like, we're done for the day. We're done for the day. And I'm like, the website, and he just cut me off. He was like, people are here waiting from 10 o'clock in the night. So I'm like, but the website, and he cut me off again. He's like, I may need to go to a different location, whether it be Sarnia or Windsor. I should go to the further ones because this one, the Rainbow Bridge, is busy. Long story short, because doing a back and forth with him would just not make a difference. He basically said, unfortunately, I cannot flagpole there because it's full. They've done their intake for the day. And in my mind, I'm like, but the website says 8 a.m. to midnight, and I'm like, okay, whatever, I won't win. So anyway, I said to him, you know, what about my son? Because I was actually also asking about extending my work permit, but I just went into what about my son? I want to know that he's in status. He took the book, he stamped it, so now my son is in status, which is a good thing. And so we left, and on our way back, maybe 15 minutes into our journey, I said to my husband, let's try the other border. Let's go to Fort Erie. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I said, let's go to Fort Erie. Let's try and see our luck there, because you know, it's always said that we are left to the mercy of immigration officers, or, you know, the customs officers. So I said, you know what, let me go and try somewhere else. And instead of going straight across the bridge, we made a U-turn back to the Canadian officers, and we pretty much explained our situation to him. He was so kind, so nice, so like completely different experience. I explained my situation to him. By now it was after 9 and he did say that the intake for 8 o'clock has closed off. However, that border is not so busy. He knows they will reopen at 12. So he would suggest we just, you know, go grab breakfast or whatever, go across the US border again, and then come back, and he's sure that they can assist me from there. So I did that. I went, an easy process to get in. We went in. I did want to see again if I could get my work permit extended. They did confirm again that my son is good to go. He's in status and all of that, but unable to extend my work permit. I should apply online. So I will be doing that. But that's my experience with the flagpoling process. Once you go, what I've learned today, the process might be a little bit longer, but you don't need a US visa to flagpole, because when you go across the border, what they will do is just refuse you. So basically, when you come back to the Canadian border, then you can do your process from there. But yeah, flagpoling is actually a thing. So if there's something that you really desire to do and they can do it, it can be done. And so even though I'm disappointed that my work permit could not be extended there, I am super elated that my son is in status and there was no issues, there was no drama, there was no questions. They just stamped his book and we're good to go. So all I need to do now is to simply extend my work permit that I will apply on the IRCC website. And as I said, I'm just elated that worry is now over with regards to my son. So if you're experiencing the same situation, then I do suggest. So the other day I posted a video about starting a catering business, and quite a few people sent me messages, you know, asking if somewhere they realize that I'm in Canada. They just relocated here, and they're searching for a job, if I know anyone. And I did entertain quite a few of the messages, and what I realized from talking to quite a few of these people, they were all in Toronto. Like, before coming to Canada, do your research. Toronto, Brampton, all those places, they don't define Canada. They don't define Ontario. Like, when I decided to come here, I did my research. I was sure that I was so sure that I'm not going to live in Brampton or Toronto. I did my research. I went as far as trying to find out where, like, I knew I wanted to come to Ontario, but I did my research and I Googled as far as, you know, where is cost of living the cheapest. Like, I did my research before coming to Canada. So I feel like a lot of Jamaicans, just like in the US, everybody, the first place they think of going is Florida or New York. Do your research. You don't have to do what others are doing. And that is, I mean, it's hard to get jobs everywhere, but Toronto, Brampton is so populated, it's 3-4 times harder to get a job. So do your research and, you know, try to go to different places. There's so many places in Canada that you can go. You don't have to go where the masses are. And if you're leaving Jamaica, why are you going back to places where there's a ton of Jamaicans? Like, if you're leaving Jamaica because you want to leave Jamaica for a better life or, you know, a better experience and stuff like that, move away from the Jamaicans. Try different places, do different stuff, like do your research. Don't go somewhere where you're now struggling to find a job, or, you know, the competition is just too much. So yeah, that's my 2 cents to persons who decide that they are relocating to.
Yeah, I must say this, man, to all the Jamaicans that's living in Canada right now. How are you guys doing? How are you guys surviving this place? If you don't notice nothing, like your bills the same, the groceries the same, the mortgage is the same, the house price is the same, you love the weather, then this video is not for you. Just scroll past. But for the other Jamaicans, I'm gonna say this, man, how are you guys doing? Because this place is very draining, very depressing, very mindful. So every day I wake up, I'm like, I don't think I can do 2 more years in this country. I don't think I can do 2 more years here. Like, this place is very draining. And with the immigration, it just make it 20 times worse. 20 times worse. So I'm thinking every day, man, where am I going? When am I going? Is it gone? Is it Jamaica? Tell me in the comment if I'm going crazy about this place.
After watching this video, you can clearly tell that we black people, we have the problem. We can't really blame white people for protecting their own countries. Yes, Africans, black people, we have the spirit of Ubuntu, the spirit of welcoming, the spirit of encouragement, the spirit of having good taste, having morality. Ubuntu is a welcoming spirit. So, just because you are welcoming, don't expect everyone to be welcoming. You as black people, you must realize one thing. Anything that you can do right there, you can do it right here. I understand those countries are lands of opportunity, but believe me, sometimes it's not worth your mental toil, because the situations, the struggle will take away from your mind and will drain you a lot, you know. Stay in Africa, stay in Jamaica, stay in whatever black country you are, and do it from there. Do not rush into throwing your own African nationality to acquire a white nationality. That might be the biggest mistake you might ever make in your life, right? If you have any concern, if you have any messages, I want you to share that on the comment section. Let's hear your insight. Let's get your insight on what you think about this situation happening to black people around the world. The only place that accepts black people as they themselves, without pretense or whatever, is Africa itself. Africa is the continent, it's the motherland, it's the origin of all black people. Black people came from this specific black continent into other continents, right? Jamaicans were from Africa, right? And I see Jamaica, I see an African country. I don't see a Caribbean or white or whatever. I see brother and sister. And if I see that, I believe that if we are in Africa, some of us have built agricultural companies. You see what the Maya walking around advertising Africans who are making great strides, Africans who are providing employment to Africans, Africans who are multimillionaires and giving and also investing on the real estate. If we can do this in Africa, I believe you can do it in Jamaica. And you don't need to go anywhere further to be abused, to be insulted, for you to start begging for a permit to become a resident. No, you don't need to experience all that. You experience all that because you are delusional. A lie has been sold to you. take out that lie and believe the truth that Evans from Kenya is sharing with you. Yes. This is EFK Original Documentaries. I hope you will get value by what I teach here. And if you do get value, kindly support me on Patreon, give something on Patreon. I'll surely appreciate. And also, you may want to share my videos, subscribe, very, very important. Subscribe to the channel. Do all the good things you might do to my channel. Good things, yes, including good comments. Let's continue this discussion on the comment section, why I think it's useless for Jamaicans and black people in general to beg to become citizens of white nations. Yes. See you in the next one. EFK Original Documentaries. Support me on Patreon. I will appreciate. See you in the next one.